In our endeavor, aptly titled History of the Propeller, we set forth on an expedition into the archives of technological advancement to uncover the captivating history of propellers and their evolution throughout history. Our mission dives deep into the complexities of their design development while reflecting on the origins of their name. Who invented the propeller? Why is it called a propeller? Engineers often refer to it as a screw. Our expedition relies on authenticated patents as the cornerstone of our quest, illuminating the who, what, and when of its inventive history. Should you perceive any omissions of contemporary innovations, we encourage you to dive deeper, as this journey might unveil fresh insights. Before we embark on this voyage through time, let us first entertain a basic question. Why is the propeller such a paramount invention? The International Chamber of Shipping asserts that approximately 90% of global trade relies on maritime transport. This statistic underscores the significance of the propeller. The importance of the propeller has been evident since the earliest days of seafaring, when sailors navigating windless waters risked starvation as their food supplies dwindled without the means of propulsion. In essence, the propeller has been and continues to be a vital component of our existence. With this perspective in mind, let's dive into the historical journey and evolution of this unassuming yet critical innovation. This propeller was patented by Adolf Ronning in the year 1940. His innovation is to efficiently and silently manage the dispersion of exhaust gases through the propeller hub. The inboard-outboard, commonly known as stern drive or Z-drive, was patented by the Johnson brothers in 1934. This innovation effectively marries the robustness and size of an inboard engine with the shallow water capabilities and impact protection system of the outboard. In 1928, Elmer Peck patented his traction boat propulsion system, incorporated the characteristics we now recognize as pod drive. The system featured a front-facing propeller, ensuring a continuous inflow of unobstructed water. It offered a remarkable 360-degree steering capability, easy reversibility, and eliminating the requirement for a separate rudder. Cameron Waterman not only developed an outboard motor, but along with his partner, also coined the term outboard in 1907. While the Patent Office approved his innovation, they did not grant approval for the name, referring to it as the boat propelling device instead. For context, it's worth noting that in 1903, the Wright brothers achieved their historic first flight, powered by counter-rotating propellers that provided the necessary propulsion. The same year, Arthur Lernard patented his folding propeller. This ingenious solution significantly reduces water resistance when the propeller is not in use, such as during sailing, and unfolds to provide propulsion when needed. Charles Myers patented his ship propeller with loop-shaped blades in 1902. Gustave Trouvé was a prolific inventor who amassed an impressive 32 patents over the span of 32 years. His innovations encompassed a diverse array of solutions, ranging from portable military telegraphs and electronic jewelry and flowers to modern dental drills. Trouvé even made significant improvements to the telephone. Among his many innovations, his 1880 patent for the propeller rudder motor combination is now recognized as the world's first outboard. Remarkably, this electric motor solution weighed only 5 kilograms, showcasing his genius in scaling down complex mechanisms to handheld size. The screw propeller, as we see here with elegantly curved blades, crafted through advanced calculations, was patented by Hermann Hirsch in 1866. This innovation addressed various issues including steering effectiveness, slip, vibrations, and fuel consumption. This is more than 150 years ago, and sadly sounds quite familiar. Before this patent, propeller blades typically exhibited more linear contours and relied on considerably simpler design formulas. Bennett Woodcroft's spiral propeller, patented in 1846, featured innovative regulated pitch propeller blades. The pitch angle could be adjusted using a hand knob. Notably, since the 2-stroke and 4-stroke engines had not yet been developed, this propeller system, connected to a straight shaft and rudder, was driven by a steam engine. In 1845, the rivalry between propellers and paddle wheels had reached its zenith, prompting the British Navy to organize a definitive showdown between these two propulsion systems. In this decisive contest, the propeller-driven HMS Rattler emerged as the victor. Yet, the propeller's victory wasn't solely attributed to its superior performance. The Navy also recognized that it was considerably easier to disable a large paddle wheel through cannon fire compared to a small propeller located beneath the waterline. Robert Stevens' 1842 patent featuring two counter-rotating propelling wheels. Additionally, it offers a solution for maneuvering and steering in confined spaces, such as ports. Remarkably, this innovative solution remains in use to this day. John Ericsson's engineering prowess extended across diverse domains, from steam locomotives, marine propulsion, and the construction of the iconic warship USS Monitor. In 1836, he secured a patent for a solution that incorporated fully submersed counter-rotating hoops with spiral plates, along with a straight shaft and rudder. Notably, the trailing hoop rotated at a higher speed than the leading one. Intriguingly, this counter-rotating propulsion system still finds application in contemporary torpedoes, primarily for the purpose of maintaining a straight trajectory during their operation. Francis Petit-Smith held an unwavering belief in the superiority of his propeller over the paddle wheel, and successfully secured a patent for it in 1836. Anecdotes from his test drives with a wooden propeller reveal a significant breakthrough when the propeller unexpectedly snapped in half. He noticed a substantial increase in the ship's speed. This observation aligns with the patent drawings, which illustrate the transition from a single worm, making 2 full revolutions, to a configuration with 1 worm and 1 full revolution, followed by the 2 worms turning half a revolution each. Smith played a pivotal role in advocating for the British Navy to adopt propellers as the preferred propulsion method. In 1832, Bennett Woodcroft secured his initial patent for propulsion, a name we've come across in his 1846 patent for regulated pitch. In this earlier patent, he detailed increased pitch throughout the whole length of the revolving spiral paddle. It's interesting to note that, at this stage, he had not settled on a definitive name for the device we now commonly call a propeller. Charles Cumrow secured a patent for the spiral in 1828. Determining the true inventor can be somewhat challenging, as the first page of the patent document mentions that the invention of certain improvements in propelling vessels communicated to me by a certain foreigner residing abroad. This invention was engineered to be driven by a steam engine, and the spiral completed 3 revolutions per second. Joseph Ressel is widely recognized on the internet, as well as in history books, as the individual who first obtained a patent for the screw propeller, or as he personally referred to it. A description of the screw-shaped drive wheel for steam engines used in water transport, windmills, and ship mills. He secured this patent privilege in 1827. At this point, the internet's available information about the origin of the first propeller comes to a halt. The dates and patent images, however, provide a clear historical record. Each of these 4 inventors is celebrated in their respective home countries. Nevertheless, some dissenting voices exist, raising questions about the true origin, and the question of why it's termed a propeller remains unanswered. Although we are gradually approaching an answer through the spiral paddle and drive wheel description. In 1824, Jacob Perkins secured his double paddle patent, in which he described each paddle revolving on a separate axis from and in a contrary direction to the other. He referred to the paddle blades as propellers, and these propellers featured variable pitch angles, with 45 degrees at the base and 21.5 degrees at the tips. The system included a gearbox with forward, neutral, and reverse settings. The double paddle were only partially submersed in the water, marking the inception of the first patented surface drive. In the year 1800, Edward Shorter successfully patented his spectacular propulsion system that incorporated duck feet at the stern of a vessel. Furthermore, he introduced what he called the perpetual sculling machine, specifically designed for precise steering and maneuvering. A notable aspect of his invention, the patent detailed the installation of the perpetual sculling machine on a ship's stern, powered by a steam or vapor engine. Steering was accomplished by manipulating side ropes to guide the innovation in the desired direction, making this the earliest patented example of what we now know as an inboard-outboard propulsion system. The establishment of the modern French patent system occurred in 1791, a pivotal development that coincided with the tumultuous period of the French Revolution. The foundation of the American patent system took place approximately 7 years after the successful conclusion of the War of Independence against the British. The inaugural patent was granted on July 31, 1790, signed by George Washington. In 1785, Joseph Bramah obtained a patent for his hydrostatical machine and boiler, engineered for propelling both vessels and carriages. This design incorporated a paddle wheel located at the stern, which he refers to as a wheel oar. It's worth mentioning that Mr. Bramah was the inventive mind behind various other notable creations, including the beer pump engine, the flush toilet, a combination lock that remained unopened for an impressive 60-year duration and was only successfully picked after 51 hours of effort, and of course, the hydraulic press. David Bushnell's submarine, the American Turtle, was constructed before the existence of a U.S. patent office where patents could be obtained. During the midst of the War of Independence, this submarine carried out 2 daring attacks on British warships, one of which was armed with as many as 50 cannons and fully crewed with soldiers. While this image is sourced from the U.S. Library of Congress and not an official patent, we consider it suitable for reference given the circumstances. The submarine's propulsion system featured a rotating oar, a concept that Bushnell himself referred to, in a letter to Thomas Jefferson, as a propel oar. His idea of using water as ballast for submerging and raising his submarine is still in use today. The final patent we discuss in this context is James Watt's patent for a steam engine, dating back to 1769. It's worth noting that he wasn't the first to invent a steam engine, as is evident from the word steam engine in the description. However, in addition to his steam engine, Watt devised a propulsion system, which interestingly, although it was not officially patented, he referred to as a spiral oar. Now we can start to discern the origin of the term propeller. It seems to draw inspiration from related terms like perpetual sculling, propel oar, wheel oar, propel oar, and spiral oar. In recognizing the contributions of esteemed inventors like Edward Shorter, Robert Fulton, Joseph Bramah, David Bushnell, and James Watt, it's important to acknowledge the terms they used in their time. Therefore, we rightly refer to the propeller as they did, a propel oar. In Part 2, we'll dive into the challenges of obtaining a patent and why a granted patent holds such significant value.